of Holyoke, Massachusetts. We're doing part of the wonderful High Street tour, and we're looking at a series of buildings across from Holyoke City Hall, and some are very nice, including the first one we're going to talk about. And the first one is a very ornate building. It's called the Clough Building. It was named by James Clough, an architect who made the Holyoke Public Library. Was one of his architectural works. Also, the Marble Building, which is diagonally across from here, is another one of his great works. He was an architect, and he was full-time owner of that building. He designed it himself to show off what he could do. And it's a great show-off. Look how beautiful that is. It has a French roof on the top. It's called the Renaissance Revival style. It was made in 1885 by James Clough. It's 4 stories high officially, because the last floor is slanted. The ground floor has been changed drastically. You can tell by the entryway is nothing like the other floors above, but it used to be very much like it. And so it's been drastically changed. To its right is the old McCausland and Wakeland, but part of McCausland and Wakeland, right next to this Clough Building in the past, was the Oddfellows Hall. And that was long gone because McCausland and Wakeland took over all that space. All right, the building next to it is now called Massachusetts Surgical Supply Company, right there. And that building right there is historically known as the Mayberry Building, made in 1881. It's also a Renaissance Revival building, 4 stories also, and you can tell by looking at it, the first 2 floors from the ground up are drastically changed. That building, only the upper 2 floors are not changed. Now, as you go along, you start to hit the Steiger building. Albert Steiger loved Holyoke so much. This was not his beginning, but it was his favorite place to be. This was where one of his homes were, and he loved it so much that these buildings looked like they were the start of his business. But he grew and grew from this point within Holyoke to make the buildings even larger as he went along. So the one you're looking at, it's actually in 4 pieces. So I'll show you the pieces right now. The one you're looking at right now, where there's 3 medium-sized windows, not on the 3rd floor, not including the leftmost piece, which has bigger window set. So the 3 that are medium-sized on the 3rd floor, that defines his first building in Holyoke. It's 4 floors high. It's a very gorgeous building. It's in a style called Beaux-Arts, B-E-A-U-X, in the arts. And this style was very popular when this building was made. It was made in 1912. The ground floor is only slightly changed. It's still a very gorgeous building. Now, if you look at either the roof, almost any piece, the roof line or the window sets, or even the way the upper windows were 2 and then S insignia between them, you notice that the 4th floor on the leftmost part is 4 windows before you go to the S insignia. So the next set of changes he made was he built his block a little bit larger. He bought out a building that was there, and he added the leftmost piece. So that's building 1 and 2. Now, his next addition is the building that now houses Rainbow on the ground floor. He made this also in the Beaux-Arts format. And when he bought this one out, he had to buy the Thomas Childs building. And then he put a new facade on the Thomas Childs building. And when he did that, he tried to make it look as much as possible like a Beaux-Arts format of his original building. But by the time he had gotten to this building, his original design was 1899, additions 1905, next edition 1912. By the time he got to there, the tradesmen that were able to do the work that he originally did were gone, and so he could only make it look somewhat like his original building. So that's part 3. Now part 4 is he's going to attempt to, again, to make it. Now we're going to go back to the right-hand side, and where People's Bank now is on the ground floor. This is his 4th edition. In that edition, what he did was buy out the Woolworth that was there, and he put another Beaux-Art facade onto it. He tried his hardest to make it look beautiful. It was only a 3-story building, so he could only do so much to make it blend in with the others. And you see the look of it is pretty good. The windows look like the second floor windows on his original building. So in pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, he built up an empire, a gigantic department store, and probably the best department store ever in Holyoke until the 1990s, when some of the department stores in the Holyoke Mall got up to a larger level with more foot traffic than this one had. Now, High Street didn't suffice for parking. He had to have a parking lot in the back, and he does, and that parking lot is still there and used for the Holyoke Medical Center. Now, there's 2 more buildings here. At the very end, you see one on the ground floor. It says Crave. All right. Now, in that building there, you had the Tabor building. Now, Luther Tabor was a person that came to Holyoke before there was a Holyoke. This was his son, Frank Tabor's building. Looks just like his father's building 2 blocks more north on High Street. It's a gorgeous building, and it has an eye on the very top, and that's like his father's building. And they were both jewelers, goldsmiths, silversmiths, so forth. And they're very prosperous. In typical fashion, he would occupy the ground floor for a sales room, the second floor for his administration, the upper floors he would rent out other offices to people. So we're not going to cover the next building after that. That we're going to cover on the corner stop. So that is one of our blocks of High Street. Thank you for coming here.